All right, today's episode is going to be a good one. I'm going to tell you how to hack the Google review algorithm. And I know that sounds like super advanced, but it's not. It's actually really, really simple. Most people just don't understand what's going on in the algorithm. And here's what happens. Someone hops onto Google, a patient, they type in dentist near me, your 500 reviews pop up, but the first thing they see is the negative review with the crazy person complaining about your office. And that really hurts you. That hurts you bad. So we're going to talk about how to actually fix that and how to make sure that your good reviews pop up first. Now, if this is helpful, I don't have a PDF. You don't have to give me your email, none of that kind of stuff. I'm not going to ask you for anything but this. If this is helpful, just comment below and say, that was helpful, Gary. That's it. That's all I want. And then what that's going to do is it's going to tell the algorithm for you to get more useful stuff like this from me. Okay. And so if you could just do that, it would really help me out and it would help you out. If it's not useful, if you've heard this before, and I'm going to explain it in like 5 minutes. Okay. If you have heard this before or it's not useful, just ignore it, pass on, leave. Okay. So if you watch this thing, I can see how many people watch this whole video. If I get hundreds of views and no one comments on it, that tells me this kind of information isn't very useful. Okay. So let's walk through this. Welcome back to another episode of Dental Marketing Go. I'm your host, Gary Bird. I'm the owner of SMC National that helps offices just like yours level the playing field against the big guys out there so you can grow the way that you want, but you can't grow if all your bad reviews are popping up first. Number one. So how do we fix that? Well, it's actually pretty simple, but you have to understand the algorithm of Google reviews, and most people don't understand them. So right now, I'm going to use restaurants because that's just easier. Everybody uses Google for restaurants, and we understand that. And we can kind of remove the emotional side of being a dentist and getting a bad review on there, right? So if you go and look for a restaurant right now and you type in sushi near me, and you go in and you're looking for the best, the best ranked or the best, most reviewed sushi restaurant, and you find one and they have 500 Google reviews and they have a 4.8 star. But the first review that pops up there, it says, this place is horrible. They had rats running around. They had roaches. My sushi had worms in it. That's gonna mess you up, right? You're gonna look at that and go, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna go there. How did that review pop up first? Here's the thing that most people don't realize, and I'm gonna give you all the answers. I'm gonna tell you how to do this. You can literally do that. Any dentist can do this themselves with them and their team, okay? Super simple. No money needed, very little time. It's just educational, okay? So what you don't realize is the reason that review is showing up so high is because it's the most relevant. Google reviews do not show up in a timeline, meaning if you post today, then that's the one that shows up today. And then the one from yesterday is the day before, and the one for the day before that. It doesn't post that way. It posts by relevance. Okay, does that make sense? So just because someone posts today doesn't mean that review is even going to show up very high. And if you have 500 reviews, nobody's going to read through all 500 reviews, right? So how do we make sure that our bad reviews are not the relevant ones and our good reviews are the relevant ones? Well, it's very simple. The reason that rat and roach one was showing up first, even though it might have been from yesterday or 6 months ago or 2 years ago, was because people interact with it. So on Google reviews, you can interact with the reviews. You can give a thumbs up, you can leave a comment underneath them, all those kind of things, okay? And the more you interact with the review, the more relevant it is, and the less interaction, if no one ever looks at it, no one ever touches it, then the less relevant it is. Does that make sense? Okay? And the more relevant a review comes, and the more people who see it, and the more people who thumbs up it and interact with it, the more relevant it becomes, okay? So you say, okay, well, how can I hack this? Well, here's what you do. First, you find your best reviews. And this is why I'm not a huge fan of commenting on every single review that you have. Shouldn't do that. Don't need to do that. Some people recommend that out there. I don't think that that's a good strategy. You can respond to some of the good ones, thank them, respond to some of the bad ones correctly. If you want scripting on how to respond to the bad ones, that's a separate podcast. Comment below. I'm happy to help you with that. We actually have scripting on how to turn your worst review into your best review. Separate podcast, okay? So what you should do is find your best reviews. Take maybe your top 5 reviews. Maybe you want reviews on aligners. So you're going to go find all your reviews on aligners. Maybe you want to highlight your team and your culture and how your team treats everybody like family to their patients and all that kind of stuff. Find those reviews. Maybe you do implants and you want the ones that talk about how you're trustworthy and you were affordable and you had finance options and you're going to find you changed their life and you were going to focus on those. Whatever, right? Find your best 5 reviews that you want everybody to see. Then you want to comment to those as you, okay, as the office. Then you want to thumbs up them. And then separately, you want your friends, your family, or your coworkers to thumbs up those reviews as well and interact with them. Okay? Now, I don't have proof for this part, but I think it's true. I don't think you should be doing this on the same IP address, meaning don't all be in the office with 5 of you doing it on the same IP address. If you can, be on separate IP addresses as you do this, okay? So ask them to do it at home, basically, or ask somebody else to do it. Ask your grandma who lives in Wichita and you're in California to do it for you or whatever, right? And just thumbs up it. What you'll realize is these reviews, because now they're the most relevant, you only need 4, 5, 6 thumbs up to make the review the most relevant. And then if you really want to level it up, if you really want it to show up first, you can post like pictures. Thanks so much for coming into our office. We loved what you said about our team. Here's a picture of Susan, our hygienist that you were talking about. She's the best. We love her. You can attach pictures to it. Okay, so now you've thumbs upped it, you've replied to it, then you've replied to it again with a picture. Now that is the most relevant review and it will show up first. And then what you can do is you can take the cockroach example I was giving you, the bad reviews that you just don't want anybody to see, and do the same exact thing, but flag them. Flag them. That's different. That has the opposite effect. And if a couple people do that, Google starts to push those down or even sometimes removes them, depending on why you're flagging them. So if this was helpful to you, if you go, man, I didn't know that Google's algorithm worked that way, just drop it down below. Thanks, Gary. That was helpful. That's all I'm asking. And I want you to go out and do it. And I guarantee you it'll work. I've seen it. I've done it. So this works. This is an absolute big brain dental marketing hack that will help you get more new patients, because now all your marketing, all your patient referrals, everybody coming in are now seeing your best reviews first and your worst reviews last, and you're winning. All right. Let me know how we did. Subscribe, like, comment, do all that good stuff.